Hi Dan, hi.
Hi Paul, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. So we're really lucky today to be joined by Dan, who is founder of Everyday Plastic. And I wondered if you wanted to just spend a moment to introduce yourself and the organization.
Yeah, thanks. So yes, my name's Dan. I founded Everyday Plastic about 5 years ago now. Um, I founded it because I actually counted all of my plastic waste for a whole year and analysed it. So that was the sort of genesis of the project. The reason why I did that was because I wasn't offered any recycling where I live at my flat in Margate, and I wanted to understand what my impact was on the plastic problem. If I wasn't offered any recycling, then how effective is recycling? How much am I bringing home from the supermarket? Where is it all going? So I had all these intriguing questions, and I wanted to try and answer those. Um, so I was able to do that with the help of a scientific researcher and generated my personalized plastic footprint. It changed my life. I completely dropped what I was doing. I was a marketing freelancer before, and I kind of just really started working on trying to communicate the plastic problem in a relatable and resonant way to young people, to businesses, to communities, and to families as well. Um, and that journey really led me to found um, the Big Plastic Count, which obviously we're hopefully going to talk about
Yeah,
today.
so well, let's get on to it then. So it's in a couple of weeks, but what is the big plastic count?
So the Big Plastic Count is a campaign that is run jointly by us at Everyday Plastic and Greenpeace UK. The brief is very simple. What we ask people to do is to count their plastic packaging waste for 1 week. So they tick off how much they throw away. Um, they then submit those results into our website. That then, in the same way that as it did for me, generates their personalized household plastic footprint. Um, Now, what we want to do is to take all that data that is collected from households and schools around the country and then put pressure on the government to really drive ambitious action and urgent change. There's a big global treaty being coordinated at the moment that is trying to develop a legal agreement as to how to cut down plastic pollution across the world. So it's a really important opportunity. It's potentially, a once in a generation moment. And, we feel that this data can provide the evidence to really, you know, make politicians and the negotiators at these meetings take notice and drive that ambitious change.
Yeah. And so we can often one of these problems with plastic is we kind of hyper individualize this. And we talk about people having to needing to recycle or litter pick and all those sorts of things. And what's interesting with this is it's about that collective. If we do this actually with a larger number and we kind of scale this, we then start to get something that represents a bigger picture that, like you say, can then be used to lobby governments and businesses and that actually represent the bigger picture. Now,
Yeah.
what about schools then? How can they get involved?
Yeah, so just to pick up on a point you just made, actually, this is, um, plastic is, a systemic issue. It's not an individual or household issue. It's impossible to avoid plastic packaging. And, so that's something that we really want to get across is that this isn't about individual guilt. It's really about coming together as one to to show that change is not just what we need, but also what we want. So in terms of schools, this is a brilliant project for schools, and we've had an amazing response so far. We've got over 10,500 school classes signed up from all over the country. Hundreds of thousands of students have signed up to take part in this. It's an amazing yeah, we're really pleased with the response. And I think what's great about it is that it's, we can make this a student-led activity. The students, the teacher will be asked to brief the students on what to do, and we provide really, um, resources, good resources for teachers to do so. So there's PowerPoints and assemblies, but also activities as well. The students then take it home, talk to their family and those within their household, tell them exactly what they want them to do. So everyone in the household is involved. They then bring the results back to the school on the following Monday, and they input the data. That then generates their household footprint, as we've discussed. That then contributes to a class footprint. So the class who's taken part can see how much they've all thrown away as a group. And if there are more classes from the school who have all signed up to do it, then we can also generate the whole school footprint. So it really is trying to engage everyone from families, to teachers, to staff, but also to the school and the wider community. So it's a really fun, accessible activity, but also really empowering, educational and engaging as well.
Mm. What's really exciting is it's a great example of citizen science and how people can actually have an impact in terms of what is a relatively easy process, like counting your plastic and kind of working out the categories of it. And then I think what's great about this as well is that it is so flexible for schools. So it could be that they, during tutor time, they do this as a tutor activity, and the schools across the country have got 15-minute, 20-minute pockets where they could introduce this, show one of the really engaging videos, and set the students off on a task at home. Or it could be a subject area that really picks this up. So it could be maths, it might be the focus is on that, and then maybe about presenting the data and doing something around that. Or it could be one of the sciences, or it could even be that people take it more down a creative route as well. I think there's so much potential here for a subject like English or one of the arts or design that could then think about how could they, once they've collected the plastic, use that in an engaging way. And I know that's something you've got a bit of
Definitely.
experience with as well, haven't you?
Yeah. So I think, like you say, there's so many different entry points into this, and plastic is such a um, you know, we can all relate to it, and I think that's the advantage of you know trying to do campaigning around this issue. But as you say, it can fit into the curriculum. It can also help to you can explore essential skills. It's campaigning, communications. Um, but yeah, creativity, it's definitely, there's a lot of you can make things out of plastic. It's a way to keep it out of the waste system. Have it as a visual representation of the issue. So definitely, there's so many different things that you can do and take away from this project.
Just to finish then, just let's go back to that point of what the point of all of this is. What are the aims? And once all this data has been collected, what's going to happen with it?
Yeah. So I think there's, as I say, like there's so many different angles, I guess, to the project. One aspect is to help people to understand and connect to the plastic problem through, by just understanding what they throw away in a week. To help them identify the themes and where most packaging is coming from. Fruit and veg or snacks or something. Um, so there's that, but everyone who takes part, every household is contributing to a wider database. We can view, you know, how many, what is being counted and thrown away across the country. The more people who take part, the more evidence we can build. And if the household throws away a lot of plastic, then we quite like you because that's, it demonstrates the issue, or the severity of the problem. Um, but really it's like I say, it's about helping people to contribute to that evidence, which is which this is something that decision makers and policy makers really need to take note of now. Like I say, there's the global plastics treaty is taking place. It's a almost 3-year program, coordinated by the UN, in fact. And there's opportunities to address plastic pollution and potentially start the process of phasing out pollution for good. It's a huge job. Plastic production is set to double by 2040 and triple by 2060. Despite all this awareness and discussion around it, there's still lots to do on it. So we really need politicians, businesses, supermarkets, brands, manufacturers to see this campaign as the evidence, the demonstration that we really need and want change. We don't want to be throwing away this level of waste. We're concerned about where it's ending up. Is it being burnt? Is that impacting marginalized communities? Is it being exported? Landfill. How much is actually getting recycled? Are we, what are we what are we being told, and what are we being advised to do? If hardly any is getting recycled, then we need to try and focus on reducing how much is produced. If we reduce the supply, then we reduce how much is in the waste system. So it's really about trying to put pressure really on those who are negotiating at these treaty meetings, particularly this year and particularly for this campaign. So we'll release the results mid-April, a week before the treaty negotiations, which are taking place in Canada, I think. So it's a really big moment, and I think just to say as many people who can get involved as possible is really important. It doesn't matter how old you are, what your background is, what your previous knowledge of plastic is. It is designed to be really accessible and fun, and it, like I say, really empowering and engaging as well.
Thank you so much, Dan. And I think we could probably try and throw it out and say, let's get every school. Yeah,
Let's
that
do
because
it.
what you're talking about already, we're talking about half school. Let's get all of them involved. Let's get all the communities across the UK involved and really, yeah, make it such a
Yeah,
success.
that'd be awesome.
Well,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much.
Take care. Cheers.